Hey, everybody, welcome to week 3. Just wanted to take a few moments and go over some key points for our week 3 module as we continue to run at breakneck speed to get these action research projects underway this semester. So it's been really fun reading through all of your journals to date and getting up to speed on your projects. So I'm looking forward to seeing how these all start coming together. So let's take a few minutes and just talk through the focus of our week 3 module. So week 3 is really about pulling together our methods and tools for our action research. Really developing, revising, finalizing whichever quantitative or qualitative tools you are planning to utilize for your study. As you start framing these out, be ready to articulate the reasons for your decisions. Just be ready to explain. Here's what I'm utilizing. Here's why it makes sense to me. Here's the type of information that I will be gathering with this type of tool, and here's how it informs my research question. Understand this is new to you. We're practicing, and so you're having time to just kind of think through what this looks like and how it applies to your study. But take some time, review our text, review resources folders. I'll point out a couple of these in just a moment, but go through all of those resources to make sure that you are finding what you need to really tighten up your actual tools for your research study. Some things to consider as you are pulling together some of your tools, especially if you are doing surveys or interviews of any type. Double check and make sure that you are not asking, for instance, 2 questions at once. If you have an "and" in your question, you should probably take a look at it and make sure that you're not asking 2 things at the same time. If you are, break it into 2 questions, ask them separately. You might also think through, do my questions flow well? Think about the responses that participants would be giving you, and does it make sense? That does the flow seem to work with your questions? Also, stop and ask yourself, does each of my questions connect to my research question? We want to make sure that you're not asking anything extra. I know sometimes it's interesting to just ask another question, but we want to make sure that we're very purposeful with the questions that we are asking and that they are all going to be informing your research question. Again, talk with your critical friend. You can run these past me. You'll actually be reflecting on these in your journals again. So feel free to reach out and ask for some input along the way as you start framing these out. You can also look at, there is in this week's module a big folder of scales. So lots of resources in there that you can go through. These have all been created and validated. And so you don't need to reinvent the wheel basically when you're thinking about, like how you want to craft a survey, or if you have a particular scale that you want to implement as part of your study. Also explore, look through your lit review and things too. If there are research studies that you have explored that have survey questions listed in there, feel free to use those. You just cite that that this question came from this particular study, but those have all been validated already, and so they've been tested out in the field to ensure that they will work effectively for the research. So you can use those as well. Sometimes that's a pretty straightforward way to find some good questions for instance, an interview protocol. And then this week, as I mentioned, we are working on our research journal entry number 2. And so, what I want you to be thinking about for this is, for each of the methods that you're using in your study, you're going to be responding to the following prompts. So, if you have a mixed methods, you would be thinking about the quantitative tools that you're using and the qualitative tools that you are using. So, for each one that you're using, you need to be thinking about, what are the best practices from readings that you'll need to apply when you're creating this particular tool? What do you think could be the biggest threats to the validity and reliability of the tools themselves? as you're constructing it. And when you think about those data collection tools, what questions do you still have? What specific advice can I give you as you are finalizing those? Because this will be due at the end of January, and then right around the corner, we are submitting to IRB. And so it's coming fast and furious. We really do need to get these finalized at this point in time. You will also notice that by the 30th, we need to finish up, update, revise the action research proposal. In the week 2 module, there is a template for the action research proposal template. So you'll want to be using that to actually do your final proposal, or the most final proposal draft that you've got right now. So we're going to be thinking about those pieces also. Let's go ahead and just take a look at the course shell itself. So week 3, remember that we have consultations all this week. Those are going really well. So thank you all for getting on my schedule. And thank you for those of you that needed to reschedule with me because of my very unexpectedly busy Monday. 2 funerals in one day. That makes for a rough week. So thanks everybody for rescheduling those. As I mentioned, there is a research methods, tools, and resources folder in the course shell. So go ahead and take a look through that. Depending on how your study is framed out, you will likely find some other resources in there that will help you solidify your methodology piece of it, for the research tools themselves. This is the journal entry 2 that I just was reviewing with you. And then stepping stone 1 is that update revision of your action research proposal. And so those are all coming up in the next week to finish up. So I will try to keep an eye on research journals if you do choose to submit that a little early and you want me to take a look at it, in particular to give you some feedback. Feel free to just send me an email and I will try to jump in there as quickly as possible. Otherwise, if you have some specific questions, you can also keep that in mind. If you haven't done your one-on-one meeting with me yet, just add it to your list of questions, and so that we can touch base on that when we meet this week. So I think that pretty much covers it. Busy, busy, busy. So I hope your week is going well, and you are just about ready to get going on this project. Have a great week. I will talk to you all soon.